account manager. I hear that all the time in marketing and advertising, things like that. But in dealing with contractors and manufacturers, I don't think I've heard people use those words in years. Doesn't mean they don't have one. Doesn't mean they don't need one.
We are diving into why it's driving them crazy.
That builder wants to talk to the boss. They don't want to talk to nobody else.
Whenever something wrong happens, the builder's calling the owner, hey, your team's dropping the ball. A really good account manager should feel like an extension of the client's team internal to your business. You don't want to have all these different relationships that you have to manage. Rather than that, you have an account manager who knows the builder well, understands projects that are coming down the pipeline.
This is an advocate for your customer in your company.
It changes the power dynamic. They never have to chase you down.
Get them. It's worth it.
Expert advice, practical tips, real-life stories. Have less stress, more time, and more money in your business. Welcome to the Cash Flow Contractor.
Martin, we are diving into what I don't think owners consider themselves as, but maybe after this episode they will, but account management and account managers, and why most owners are account managers, how that happens, and why it's driving them crazy, why they're not able to be a business owner at that point.
Well, when we were talking about it in advance and to do this, I said to you that account manager, I hear that all the time in marketing and advertising, things like that.
Yeah.
But in dealing with contractors and manufacturers, I don't think I've heard people use those words in years. An account manager. Doesn't mean they don't have one. Doesn't mean they don't need one. Yeah. That's not something that they refer to often. And
Yeah.
I think we'll have to discuss that, the difference between an account manager and what people would say, well, I have a project manager.
Yeah.
And maybe they have differences of emphasis, on the different syllables.
Yeah. No, there's a difference. And I think one caveat to all this, like most account managers are working in a B2B sense. They're working with other businesses, not with consumers, not with homeowners, for example. Like you wouldn't, unless you've got a homeowner who's building all the time or doing nonstop projects, maybe you have an account manager there. But the idea is that you can build a really amazing business by just having a handful of accounts. Now you probably have other projects, but if you're a subcontractor and you've got an amazing GC that you can rely on to feed you business, obviously you don't want to have only one whale that's feeding you. But if you have a few whales, you can do some really cool stuff. You can grow your business. You can streamline operations. You can install an account manager and make it work. And I think the way that this starts, Martin, it's how a lot of the subcontractors get going, right? They are the account manager. They're
Right.
building their
They have
business.
a relationship, yeah.
They find a good builder. They do everything they can to make them happy. They're communicating really well. They don't drop the ball. They're proactive. They meet expectations and exceed them. They set clear expectations for what the builder can rely on. And then they make sure that the team internally is doing the work. And maybe even when you're starting out, you are doing the work. You're building the cabinets. You're fabricating the countertops. You are doing whatever, you're doing the drywall or whatever it is, right? And so you kind of own what's happening and you care because it's your business, it's your reputation on the line. And then you're even making sure that the billing was done properly and all that kind of stuff, right? So you, rather than hand things off to, okay, salesperson has the initial conversation, they hand it off to the person that's, working on the project, the person that's actually executing the project, then hands it off to the billing department. And then there's all these handoffs. Well, that's fine. It's a good way to operate a business. But if you're focusing on a really key account, they don't want handoffs.
Well, every handoff is an opportunity to be misunderstood,
Yep.
to forget the key critical part, to let something go sit on a corner of a desk because they didn't know it was there. It's a point of opportunity for failure. So what I'm hearing is an account manager, the handoffs may still happen, but is responsible for the linking and to make sure that when something goes from design to CAD to CNC shop, that it happens.
Yeah.
Somebody's responsible for the flow.
Yeah. And a really good account manager should feel like an extension of the client's team internal to your business, right? So
Okay.
we're building cabinets. We've got a great high-end builder that gives us jobs all the time. Well, rather than the business owner being the account manager, because there's all sorts of problems that can stem from that as you grow and scale. And rather than the builder that's sending projects talking to the salesperson, then talking to the production manager or shop foreman, whoever it is, and then talking to the installer, and then talking to the billing department, that's chaos for the builder. They want one point of contact, right? And everyone's no different. That you don't want to have all these different relationships that you have to manage, and right? Rather than that, you have an account manager who knows the builder well, understands projects that are coming down the pipeline, is proactively asking about them, knows the clients of the builder well, is offering to meet with them, to share designs, to do whatever it takes, right? To represent your company. And then whenever a job comes in, maybe they're not even doing the estimating, but they're going to the estimating department and saying, hey, we've got this job. I need this done. We typically do our CAD drawings in 1 week. I need this in 2 days, right? This is a big opportunity. Hey, I can get you a preliminary quote in 2 hours, right? I'm going to go over and I'm going to make sure that I'm there for the measurements, or I'm doing the measurements myself, right? That's the idea of the account manager, is that they feel like, wow, I've got someone I can rely on, and that if anything was going wrong, one person to call.
I can hear people listening to this and saying, you've been drawing the distinctions, but I think you need to maybe be clear.
Yep.
They say, well, I've got a project manager, and that's what he or she does for me.
Yeah.
They're our liaison. They're responsible for making sure that ball doesn't get dropped.
Sure.
So how do you define the difference?
So a project, it depends on what your constraint is, what your problems are. Are things falling through the cracks on the project, right? Is your problem that your projects aren't being executed to the highest level? Do you need someone to own the results of a project, right? Is that the problem you're having? You need a project manager. Is your constraint that you're not getting enough jobs, right? You have a sales problem, and you're not, things are falling through the cracks. You're not executing the jobs to the fullest, but not because there's an operations issue, but because there's a handoff issue. There's a communication issue, right? And you feel like we work with that builder, but they do so much work and we only get like these couple jobs a year. If that's your constraint, then that's an account manager.
I think another something you said before we started recording was, is the problem in the process, which you just described for a project manager?
Yeah.
Or is the process pretty tight, so there's not a lot of room for, like, manufacturing, you was an example, or cutting granite? That's a defined process. So the issues where is communication with the builder. They didn't know when the time was coming. Anyway, It's more people-oriented rather than process-oriented.
Yeah.
More than it rained on, you got to reschedule everybody. That's project manager. Somebody wasn't talking to the guy. He didn't know when his doors or his project countertops were going to be done. That's a people issue.
Yeah, they called the office and left a voicemail and no one followed up. Right. They asked for a quote, and this builder likes to receive them via text message, and it was sent to the company email address. Right.
Yeah.
Like, the project manager is focused on the project. They're not focused on like catering to the preferences of the builder and how they communicate and how, those kinds of things, right? So that's more of the account manager. They're thinking about the relationship and tailoring the experience for that relationship.
Right. I think a lot of project managers do that, but would be delighted if they had somebody within their company that they could use language they want to use.
It's two different brains, right? I mean, one of them is process. One of them is just like organizing the details of a project itself, right? And knowing all the inputs and outputs and the flow of things. And then the other is understanding the process, but really trying to be a relationship manager and trying to see things through an entire process that has nothing to do with construction. It's all the handoffs. So it's a really hard thing to describe, but it's a really good thing for us to talk about it and distinguish. I think people will find value in that.
Yeah, I think you described it really well, between the process and the people.
And it's what the owner does. I mean,
I was just going to say, I wrote that down as a note, and I can hear people talking. They say, well, it depends on the size of your company and all, but that builder wants to talk to the boss. He don't want to talk to nobody else. And,
yeah.
And
well,
how do you work that out? How do you hand that off?
It's the reason why whenever something wrong happens, who's the builder calling?
The boss.
They're calling the owner. Yeah.
Yeah.
The builder's calling the owner. Hey, your team's dropping the ball.
Your guys. Yeah.
You know? And so with a project manager, you want them focusing on like executing the actual project, not thinking about the billing, not thinking about, what the sales process is. Like you want them doing a really great job of owning the project and managing the team, right? The account manager is not managing anybody on the team. They're making sure that the team's doing their thing. They're, hey, I need this from you. Hey, if something's wrong, tell me so I can tell the builder. But they're not managing the team, okay? They're managing the account.
I'm gonna catch you real quickly. The project manager is concerned with invoicing. I know.
Sorry.
I know. I'm just kidding because
what I mean by the invoicing
I know exactly
is,
what you mean.
What I mean by the invoicing, they're not
Doing collections.
They're not doing collections.
Yeah.
They're sending the invoice, and they're
No,
moving
I'm
forward,
just yanking your chain. But I guarantee every project manager is thinking about the invoicing because somebody's thinking about that.
Yeah. That's true. And so, okay, the builder trusts the owner because I think this is the most important thing. The owner has context, full context,
Okay.
right? Whereas, and this is the problem with a lot of teams, right? There's the install team, and you're a cabinet example. They have an installer. They have someone in the shop that's doing the lead carpenter, we'll say. They've got the salesperson, right? And each of those people doesn't have full context, but the owner does, because the owner manages the salesperson, the owner manages the lead carpenter, the owner manages the install team, right? And the designer. So when they don't have full context, they don't make decisions the same way. They only make decisions within the context window that they have. Right? And so when the builder's like, hey man, we talked about this in design, your installer's here and he has no idea what's going on. He's putting it in the wrong way or whatever it is. He didn't bring the right whatever with him. I don't know. So he calls the owner because the owner should have full context. In an ideal
and authority.
And authority, correct.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why. But a good account manager has full context.
Yeah.
Knows about hey, for this builder, for this job, I know exactly why they reached out in the first place, what the original request was. I went through discovery with them. I went through the design process with them. I'm the one that handed it off to our lead carpenter and made sure that everything was in our software properly for him to be able to execute. I'm the one that looked over the CAD drawings and presented them to the builder and got them approved. I'm the one that then made sure that everything was looking good and doing some quality control inside the shop. I'm the one that gave a checklist to the install team of exactly what needed to happen, and we did a rehearsal inside the shop. I'm the one that came when the install was completed and checked everything. I'm the one that got the punch list approved, right? That's what an account manager is doing.
Quick ad break. It's for me personally. I've got to promote my business, and you are my target audience. If you're a contractor, you're running a business that's north of $500,000 in revenue, You already know the grind. You're the salesperson, the project manager, the HR department, and the guy that's fixing problems on the weekends and at 9 p.m. because you own the business and you're responsible. But I've got something for you. I built growth kits just to solve your problem of the chaos that comes with growth. It's a membership that gives you a growth team that's in your corner. It helps with staff, systems, and software. So you don't have to go and hire a bunch of people that you can't afford yet to fix problems that you've never fixed before. If you need to get work off your plate, we help you get up to 3 global talent hires per year as a part of our membership so that you can find low cost, low overhead positions to really take the admin work off of your plate. We mentor them for you weekly so that you're not stuck training someone from scratch. And if you need to give further training to them and other people on your team, we provide workshops to anyone that's at your company. Let me read off some of these first. Workshop titles: Own Outcomes, Not Tasks. 6 weeks going over that with your team in a very engaged setting that's virtual. Client Success and Retention: How to Handle Difficult Conversations. Communication and Meetings Mastery. Delegation Mastery, Business Financial Literacy, and How to Implement AI. That's just a few. We have over 21 workshops that are different going on throughout the year in 2026. If you need to talk through a decision on software or whatever it is, you can talk to anyone on our team to support you in your growth as a construction company. We also provide monthly masterminds with other owners who get it. So it's one membership. It's $600 a month. Your business gets more efficient and not more overwhelming as you grow. That is our goal with the Growth Kits membership. So if you've been white knuckling it and you're wondering when it's gonna get easier, this is how you do it. You book a call that's in the show notes. I wanna talk to you about it, and then I will show you exactly how we will help you remove some of the roadblocks in your business to growth and help you become more efficient and not more chaotic. Back to the episode.
So where do these account managers come from?
Yeah, it sounds great, right? Oh man, that would be awesome if we had someone that could do that, right? So the best account managers, in my opinion, are kind of homegrown. You're going to develop them, right? And they're going to be really good at least one of those aspects of your company. Maybe they're really, really good at the design process. Maybe they're extremely good at the install, or they're really good at the, sales process. But they're really just great people. They're people persons, right? They have good relationship skills, and they can take accountability. They take ownership, right? They have to be really good communicators as well. That's a priority. I think as you're looking for this role, though, you have to understand that there has to be incentive. And that's maybe one of the hardest things to figure out is, are they a salesperson? And they're an inside salesperson, right? But they probably need a really good base too. They can't just be only off of commission. They're not out there just sending out bids all the time. They're only focused on the accounts, and they're not taking on one-off jobs. They are only working on the jobs from that account. And this only works if you have a really good product. If you're just another sub that's out there, and you're not differentiated in the quality that you offer, the level of experience you offer, or anything like that, it doesn't work that well. You have to be differentiated.
Well, I think one thing, you will be differentiated. Working with a guy even today, this afternoon, communication is the most important differentiator you can possibly have.
Yeah, for sure.
And if this is an advocate for your customer in your company, and they understand their role, they'll be good at communication both ways. They have to be listening, and then they have to present, and have to be aware of what, it's still, the company that they work for is still their employer. But that role of advocate is totally about communication. What am I going to learn, and what am I going to pass on? So,
if you're in everyone has, and we're using the title account manager, but everyone has someone that's kind of like this. Like, they have the rep at the supplier who they maybe consider a salesperson, but knows that they do way more than sales. They're taking me to lunch and they're asking me questions that have nothing to do with them selling me more supplies. They're connecting me with people that they think are valuable to me in the industry. They're maybe sending me new opportunities. They're dropping by the office just to say hi, right? They're proactively telling me about my shipments and when they're arriving, if they're on schedule. They're noticing if I haven't ordered in a while, and they're following up to say, hey, last month you did this much, we had a decline this month, what's going on? Like, how can I help, right? Do you guys have any leads coming in? Let me connect you with this marketing agency I know. Right.
Most importantly, they tell you promptly about some screw up that they made.
Exactly. They're keeping
We
you ahead.
forgot to
Hey,
order that part.
I'm just looking now. We didn't order that. It's going to be 2 days behind. I put a credit on your account for
Yeah,
not the full amount, but I gave you a discount.
Yeah, I got one that wound up being 6 weeks behind. Big deal. Anyway.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah.
But like,
big deal.
we've all met what those account managers are like, right? And we think the world of them, you know? Like I have some for like, we do a lot of software stuff and we implement software for companies. And sometimes there's like these edge cases that, I mean, I have no idea how to do. And my account manager has no idea how to do. And I'm literally going through this right now, but I can call, and my account manager doesn't even benefit from this, right? But I can call Chrissy and I can send her a text. I have her direct cell and I say, hey, I have no idea how to do this and I need to figure it out by Friday. And within 10 minutes, I have an intro to a product expert on the software with the question and saying, hey, can you please send a video of how to do this or answer this question or jump on a call with Khalil? He needs it by Friday. Like, that's so helpful to me. It allows me to operate my business so much better. And the same thing is true of a good account manager.
Absolutely.
But it's hard to find, and you will have to compensate this person. Yeah. Like, they are invaluable, and you have to incentivize them around owning the account, making sure that it's truly in place, and that it's working properly. So
Well, they're gonna have to be great
the reason why they have
diplomats.
to be developed is because they need context about the institution that you're in, the organization, right? They need to know who's who inside the company already. You bring someone in externally, it's going to take them a long time to understand what's happening internally to be able to actually be an extension and be valuable. So,
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think it's important. I can hear people talking about that's an extra guy I got to hire. Not if you bring them up, but you got to hire the replacement of the one you moved out. But that idea of an advocate inside your company, we had a hydraulic supplier years ago, one of the largest in the United States, called Rexroth. Listeners may know. But anyway, they had a whole policy. They integrated into your company. Your rep was an advocate for you at the company. They would use your part numbers on their catalogs so that you could, anyway, It was all about taking care of us. And the advocate did not, I mean, he asked us if we needed help forecasting our needs and things like that, but he didn't ask us for orders.
yeah.
Yeah, they just made it work. It's a
Well,
big
and
company, lots of many millions of dollars in those people. But we have to do it on our small scale. Call them communication directors, advocates.
Yeah. I think I'm going to just go through a list of things I took notes on here. And I think will be helpful of just like clarifying some things that we've already talked about, but just getting them really tight. So what an account manager is not is a salesperson, because a salesperson is hunting new business, right? An account manager deepens the existing relationships you have, right? And makes sure that we're getting more business from our accounts. And they're not someone who just answers the phone. They're not routing calls. They are answering the phone and resolving the call, right? They're also not your production manager or your project manager. Every time they answer the phone, they should be pulled into something they're actually good at, not something that they don't know. They don't know how to build cabinets. They know what done looks like. They know when there's a mistake happening, but they're not the ones that are building cabinets. Right. What it is like we said, they own the builder relationship, and it's from first contact on an order to the final punch and even beyond. They're sending a gift to the homeowner whenever they move into the house on the new build, or whenever they come back in after the remodel, right? They're the ones asking for pictures for case studies and for adding it to the website and all that kind of stuff, right? You don't want your project manager doing that. Really, it's someone who says, hey, I'm on it when the builder calls. And then we've already said, they're extension of the builder. So the idea is that whenever you have an account manager, you're not reacting to the builder, but you are proactive and you're always a step ahead of what the builder needs. They never have to chase you down. It changes the power dynamic a lot, where builders having authority over you as a sub and you're in a weaker position and you're always behind. Sorry, yeah, we'll get it, right? If you're one step ahead, they're like, man, they're taking care of me, but they know what's going on more than I do,
Right.
And that's where you want to be. So
Yeah, and as the owner, that's the person you can put on the guy who's a jerk and lies about the time that anyway, I'm thinking of another example. There's some difficult people that you have to please out there
yeah, for
if
sure.
you want to keep the business.
Quick ad break, contractors. I want to tell you about Quo, formerly OpenPhone. I see something all the time. A customer calls in, they talk to one person on your team, and then they call back later and get someone else, and they have no idea what's going on. What do you do when you have a frustrated customer and your team is scrambling to piece it all together? It's just another fire for you to put out. Quo fixes all of that. It's an AI-powered phone system. Your whole team shares one number, or they can have their own individual numbers, but they can see the full call history. They can listen to call recordings, they can see automatic transcriptions, and even AI summaries of exactly what was said. You can tie it into your CRM too, so now the customer info isn't scattered all over the place, it's in one single source of truth. If any of this sounds appealing to you, check out the special offer in the show notes just for our listeners. Thank you for listening. Back to the episode.
So let's go through these phases really quick. Okay, we know what an account manager is. What is the actual process that they go through, right? I think this is, and it's honestly what every owner has done at some point, right? So the first part is discovery and onboarding for the account, especially for new accounts. If you're just getting your account manager in place and you've already had a builder relationship for 8 years, some of this happens internally, right? But the first thing you have to do is just learn how the builder operates. Who are the decision makers inside the company? Who are the different roles that you're going to be talking to and delivering things to? Who do you send the invoice to? Who do you send the design to? Whenever there's a change order, who is the one that's providing that to you? You have to kind of map some of those relationships out so that you can make it easier. And there's also preferences there. Maybe the builder doesn't want you talking to anybody but the builder. Maybe the superintendent is the go-to on everything, right? So you have to understand some of that. And then you have to document it, right? Because you need to be able, if you're going to manage 20 plus accounts potentially, and I'm not a huge advocate for that, but let's just say you are, you need to have it documented so you can actually do it, right?
Or let's say somebody replaces you because you moved to
right.
Connecticut.
Yeah.
At least you got a place to start.
Exactly. So then proactive pipeline development. You're not waiting for the call that there's something there. You're looking at permit filings. You're driving around the neighborhoods that the builder's always in, right? You know what's coming before they bring it to you, and you're reaching out first. And that can feel like sales a little bit. But at the same time, sales is about new business, not existing business. For some clients, for some contractors out there, it is about existing business. But in this case, existing business would go to the account manager. New business would go to a business development person, to a salesperson, et cetera, et cetera. So then the quote and design process, right? The account manager should own the quoting, right? And hey, here's ballpark numbers, right? I got the measurements, rough measurements. I've got an idea of the design styles and the materials. I can get you a quote really fast. I think that's really crucial for the account manager to not have to hand off something that the builder wants, like, I'm submitting my bid. I need this today.
Got to have it.
So to not have a handoff there is really important. And then in terms of the estimating process and the design process, they can do some of that if necessary, but that might be a handoff when you're actually, hey, we're moving forward on that quote. We've approved it. Let's get some designs in place. That's probably a handoff at that point, because you're getting in someone who might be too specialized and in the weeds, because that could take a couple of days maybe to get that really, the CAD drawings and all that kind of stuff, right? Then you have production and install coordination. So this is, we're doing the work now. We've sold it, been approved on the estimate, all that kind of stuff. Now it's just status updates that the account manager is giving. They're checking in before the builder's checking in, right? Instead of the builder calling and asking where are we at, they're checking in with the teams that are doing production, install, and they're getting updates, and they're going to the builder and they're saying, hey, everything's on schedule. No big updates right now, but just let you know we're still on our timeline. Great.
Yeah, perfect.
Yep. Then you go into the post-install, right? And relationship building, where that's where you're making sure the quality's there. You're sending videos of the completed work you've done, right? You're doing a debrief call. You're calling the builder, hey, or you're sending him a text, give me a call next time you're in the car driving for 5 minutes. Hey, how do we do on this project? Anything turn out okay for you? What's something we could have done better? Okay. Client happy? Anything that you heard from them? Okay. Really appreciate it. If there's anything that we can improve on this project, please let me know, in the future.
Yep.
How do you want to do the next one? When is the next one? So you should not, I think one thing where people can go wrong here is they say, okay, we got a builder, take it to our account manager. And you really shouldn't be doing that, right? You should have, we've talked about 80-20. Todd Hagopian?
Oh yeah, that's the master 80-20.
Yeah.
But it's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the, what's his name?
Pareto principle or?
Pareto, yeah. Pareto
principle. Yeah.
Pareto principle. Yeah, 20%.
But I mean, you focus on those 20%, right?
Yeah.
If you have 10
provide
builders you're
80%
working,
of your benefit.
yeah. If you're working with 10 different builders, you've got an account manager on 2. And if that's not enough business for you, then you don't have an account manager. You're still doing it yourself. But when you get to the point where you can't handle it anymore, you maybe train them on the lower accounts. But once they're up and going, your best builders that feed you, your best accounts that feed you business are where they spend their time. So
makes perfect sense. And I mean, what I like most about what you've said is you're an advocate, you're representing your customer inside your company. So, number one.
Yeah, and know that this is going to take a couple years.
Yeah.
This isn't like, they're in place and they're rocking and rolling. There's going to be some growing pains. There's going to be a steep learning curve and something like this, because it's a lot that you're covering so many different areas.
Well, and in something like that, you've got to match the personality, the person, the capabilities and their personality, their demeanor.
Yeah.
And you can always hire those guys. I mean, you want to bring them up through, and if you know who they are, but sometimes you advance them beyond their, advance to the level of incompetence. You take them up until they're not good at it, and stop right there, leave them. No, you might have to hire them 5 times, right?
Yeah.
To get them. But it's worth it.
Yeah. And I think, again, most of our listeners are probably the account manager, right? If you're working with other GCs and you're a sub, you're probably the account manager. And you are probably trying to hand off pieces of what you do, and it's not working because you're not delegating like a system. You're just giving tasks, but
Right.
You're still the one that's responsible for all of it, right?
Yep.
And so you have to understand how the whole process works in your business, the whole workflow, as I would call it. And then you can train someone how to do that, right? And set the expectations for it. So it's hard. It's going to take time to build, but I think it's a worthwhile thing. I think it sets you apart. If anybody's interested in talking about this more, I'd love to map this out with somebody. We're doing it for a couple clients right now, and it's really interesting, but yeah.
Sounds great. Makes sense.
All right. Martin, thank you.
You too, sir.
I'll see you on the next one.
You bet.
You made it to the end of the episode, but before you go, If you found yourself thinking about growing your construction business while listening today, I want to share something with you. It's called our 24 Things to Hiring and Training the Perfect Executive Assistant for Your Construction Business. And it's a free guide that we've created. It's not theory, it's what we actually use to help contractors hire the perfect executive assistant. And really, we help you find ways to delegate over 50% of your current workload and get back 20 hours of your time every single week. You didn't start your construction business to just be doing admin work, to be buried in paperwork and endless admin tasks. This is the guide that shows you exactly how to find and train someone who can actually take all that weight off of your shoulders. So this is a real actionable, great PDF that has templates and processes. It's really, really great. And I want you to check it out, even just to get your feedback and how we can make it even more valuable. But I know that you're gonna love it. The link is in the show notes. Please download it. We'd love to see how much of an impact it makes on you and your business. Thanks for listening to the full episode. Check out the guide. It's free. No reason to hesitate. No reason to wait. Download it now. And before you go, I just want to ask for your gracious subscription to our podcast. So if you have 2 seconds, it means the world to us. Just subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or if you'd like our weekly newsletter delivered to your inbox whenever we release an episode, please subscribe in the show notes. Every week, we're talking about real strategies on how you can grow and build a profitable construction business that runs without you, so you can have less stress, more time, and more money. Click subscribe wherever you listen to the show, and thank you again for checking out The Cashflow Contractor. See you on the next episode.